okay, please don't shoot me. But in my experience of life, men are some of the biggest gossips I've ever met.
If there's anything I've noticed, girls love a good love story. They love it.
We do.
They love it. When you look at every single girl fantasy story from the past, it's all about love story, love story, love story. Barbie, it's Barbie and Ken.
Hell no, she can't argue.
It's all these things.
According to my personal experience, there was some rejection that I had not dealt with. And so because of that, because I feel like that would make sense. If you're afraid of losing the person, why are you afraid of losing the person?
So guys, we're cooking. You can see the human heart is a complex device. So that's why the Bible says it's desperately wicked, all right? Because it can put us in trouble, right? How we doing, Robust family? And look, welcome. I know you're going to enjoy the episode coming up, and we have a lot more stuff on this channel. But before we engage on the new show, can I ask you to do me a small favor? Just robustly smash that subscribe and like button. It helps us a lot, and it makes sure that you do not miss a robust breakfast show beat. All right, enjoy. That's right, guys. It's that time to shine. This is your breakfast show. And I'm your host, Robert Ashitey, your robust presenter. Oh my gosh. And as I speak and begin the program right now, it seems the sun is now shining outside the window here in London town, North London. And we are coming to you live, guys. And it's a Relationship Power Thursday. It's a Relationship Power Thursday. If you've never been with us before, and literally we're just going to go straight into it because it's J Amor. It's all about J Amor, J Amor. Guys, I love Thursday because it's all about J Amor. And we hear lessons and tools and tips from the love therapy, which goes deep within our souls. Sometimes you see her and he sees you, and you wonder, what shall I do? Ow, 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 ow. Yes, right. That's right, guys. We're going to be going into it today with elements from the Love Talk with Bishop James and Miss Helena. And today we're looking at the subject of when love becomes an idol. Are you putting someone above God? That's what we're going to look at today, guys. And it's going to be deeply heart-wrenching today. And for sure, we're going to end up 21 grams lighter. And helping us to achieve this today, we have the man of sound himself, the one, the only. It is Colossus. Colossus, yes, it's that time. Yes, yes. Descending down from the clouds of Olympus with his bronze skin and chiseled cheekbones, that magnificent man has arrived. Good morning to you, Colossus.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning to you, Superpower.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, actually.
Your radiance is mesmerizing.
Yes.
Yes.
I like cold mornings, you know.
Really?
I don't know why my body feels like awake.
Really?
Yeah.
I know, but that's just because you're so supernatural.
Maybe.
Yeah, us mere mortal men, we always like comfort, but you are trained for everything that is wonderful and good.
I'm a warrior, innit?
Yes, you are. Handsome man, you. Well, I know you're fully locked and loaded with the tracks for this morning. Fantastic. And guess what, guys? As we have the table of justice being propagated this morning, joining us we have to the right of me, the lady herself, the lady who's always correcting my Botswanian. It's the one and only, it's Teho. Good morning to Teho.
Morning, everybody.
How you doing today, girl?
Morning, Mr. Morning, everybody. I'm okay, thank you.
You know, you're looking really perky and alive this morning. Seriously, like from when I got your morning message,
Consider the early call I got. I am alive. I was ready for today.
Yeah. 21 grams lighter.
We're ready.
21 grams. That's how we go. All right, as well as Teho being with us this morning, joining us to my left, we have the man with the plan. We call him Kel. I am. Good morning to Kelly. Hey.
Everyone, good morning.
Morning, Kelly.
How you doing, Superpower?
I'm doing great.
You know when you come onto the table of justice, it's like putting a planting like a C4 bomb on the table of justice, because especially the ladies, they kind of react
I wonder how I'm going to survive without Julia here today.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Let me just.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. But it's great to have you on the show, dude. Fired, wired, and inspired. Absolutely. And guys, I'm telling you, I'm really excited this morning because we have a new lady on the block. Joining us here on the breakfast show. Yes. Today is what's the date today?
The 20th.
Today is the 20th, all right? And I have someone new that I think will fit the table justice very, very well. Yeah, it's the one and only from Plasto. It's Jasmine! Good morning to you, Jasmine! Good morning to you, Jasmine!
Good morning!
You got to put some happy, kind of music going on here for this lady.
Good morning, Jasmine.
This one is from my childhood, so I like this one.
Yeah. Oh, what? Are you like a 90s or 80s kid?
80s. Oh, yeah. No. So I am a Zennial, so I am very much on the cusp of the millennials and the Gen Z. Won't tell you which one I fall closest into, but you'll have to guess.
Why won't you tell us?
Because you have to guess.
Oh, we have to guess. We have to guess. Okay.
I am such an auntie. I don't know what that means.
No, it's okay. But I'm very happy to be on the show. Very happy to be here this morning with you all.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah, and for anyone who might forget my name, just remember the tea or the flower because my name is Jasmine.
Yeah.
True, that's true.
I'll just remember
I remember the
Plasto.
tea.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
But also look.
I've had
Wait, Jasmine.
tea before.
Wait, Jasmine's the flower. It's purple. I was getting you confused with Jade because you're wearing green. And then you have the opal on your neck.
And I'm expensive like a jewel. Yes.
We're gonna get on well.
I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah.
She said I'm expensive like a jewel.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay, Kelly gives a thumbs up. All right, guys. So look, it's all kicking off right now.
That's not good when Kelly gives a thumbs up. Jasmine, you have to be on my side in case anything happens.
Listen, girl power, I've got you.
Perfect. We're good. That's all I needed.
Give it bow. All right, guys. So the Thursday is kicking off. All right, guys, and like we said, it's Relationship Power Thursday. So we have the Table of Justice here. Everyone's going to be giving their insights on elements from the Love Talk. We're going to be having our morning coffee question. We're going to be having our AI story coming up in just a moment. And today's AI story, we're going to do it a bit different, right? Because since we started learning how to use AI, we're going to have a situationship AI today, where everyone's going to give their thoughts on it, and we'll see the outcome afterwards. So it's going to be very, very different. So that AI story is coming up in I'm going to announce it pretty much right now, okay? So we can go into it. I want you all to pay attention. If anyone is still sleeping, wake them up. Because look, man, when love becomes an idol, are you putting someone above God? Love life is temperamental. And this is a breathe deep to help. breathe deep, guys.
Yeah, I remember.
Something came to your mind.
Yeah.
It's already started. All right, guys. So let's get ready.
Why do I feel attacked? What do you remember?
Silent grenades.
Guys, just strap in. We're going for a roller coaster. All right. We're gonna go into our AI story today. Remember, the theme is when love becomes an idol. Are you putting someone above God? Get ready for this. Pay very close attention. We're going to pause it in the middle, all right, and we're going to discuss it. It's going to be so nice. We'll be right back after this. Check this out.
Time for a robust story to get your thoughts right. There was a young man named Daniel from South London, dedicated, steady, consistent in his faith. He wasn't perfect, but he genuinely tried to put God first. For years, he prayed for a partner who shared his values. Then came Selena. She was confident, warm, and full of life. She wasn't from church, but she loved how calm and grounded Daniel was. He felt seen. For the first time in years, he felt alive. Their chemistry grew quickly. Texting late into the night, weekly meetups, inside jokes, butterflies. But slowly, Daniel's routine shifted. Prayers shortened. Sunday attendance slipped. He told himself, God understands, just this once. Then one evening, Selena said something that shook him slightly. Look, I don't want your faith getting in the way of us. Daniel tried to laugh it off, but it unsettled him. A few days later, they were sitting together when she leaned in. Serious. If you really love me, prove it. The atmosphere shifted. Everything went quiet inside him. He felt the weight of the moment. This wasn't just affection. This was compromise. This was pressure. He hesitated. She folded her arms. And then came the ultimatum. Because if you don't, maybe we aren't meant to be. Daniel froze. His heart raced. His faith whispered one thing. His emotions shouted another. He realized he was standing at a crossroads. Choose her feeling or God's principles. Choose comfort or conviction. Choose approval or truth. And now the question becomes, what should Daniel do? What would you do? Here are 3 options. A, give in to keep the relationship, hoping God will understand. B, avoid confrontation, stay in the relationship and hope things improve later. C, refuse to compromise and keep God first, even if it means losing her. Which one is the right choice? And why? Daniel went for a walk that night. Long, quiet.
All right, guys. Oh boy, 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 oh boy. I mean, how do you feel about his situation? Obviously, as Christians, we know what we'd say, but
why is Kelly threatening me?
Can I not look at people?
Go on, Mr.
Yeah.
Robert.
So, I would like to know how do you feel about his situation? I mean, your thoughts on it.
Do you know, I think it's when I think she shouldn't have placed himself in that situation to begin with. But I know that as well. It's quite when you've been preserving yourself for the longest, praying, keeping in faith, fighting for your love life, and then something that seems to be passes by, I think people can get tempted and think, oh, maybe this is it. And then, if you overlook some certain things, you don't do your assignment. Is this person from God? Are they in the same faith as me? It's easy to just get trapped in. And then before you know it, your feelings are feelings. Now you don't know, you are there, you know what to do, but your feelings are saying, no, just go along and things will unfold. Option B. So
you're hoping, you're using your faith you're using your faith, right? In the situation, you've been in the desert for so long, right?
Desert.
Yeah, they hope things will turn out right, but the thing is, if she's not in the same faith with you, she's not in the same faith with you, isn't it? So so that's what I saw.
Daniel, in the story. I mean, any thoughts on what you just saw as well?
I just want to clarify. You said option B.
No, option B was the first option was choose her over your faith. Option B was just go along with things and hope things will turn right.
So A, give in to keep the relationship, hoping God will understand. B, avoid confrontation, stay in the relationship and hope things improve later. Or C, refuse to compromise and keep God first, even if it means losing her. What I'm saying to you is, can you understand his predicament? And you gave a very valid point.
Okay. I was now that same question to me.
Yeah.
I'll say I understand his predicament. What I would choose if I was in his shoe, I would first choose option B, hope for the best. If she presents an ultimatum like that to me, then option C.
Oh, it's the ultimatum.
It's the ultimatum that really just kicked it off.
Ooh. Yeah. What do you think of that situation, Jasmine?
I do agree that he probably shouldn't have put himself in that situation. Like, he should have been clear from the beginning. Listen, I'm a Christian. For me, God comes first. You matter to me a lot, but it will always be God first. But I understand that sometimes the slope is so slippery and so steep that sometimes you find yourself at the bottom and you blink and you're like, oh, it's a long way up. But I think I see why everyone is choosing option B. I tend to be quite like option C, but then I know that there are times where I've been in not exactly this situation, but with friends where I'm like, I'm ready to cut you off, and then I realize how much you actually hurt a person, and then I realize that actually you do need to take care of people and their feelings and them as a human. So I think option B is a good option, but I think it has some caveats you need to add, like God will always come first. Like, you matter to me, but God will always come first, and being very clear, because people can be upset, but they have to be upset with themselves if you were clear and honest with them from the beginning.
I love that. I love it. Very nice. Very nice. So look, guys. So Daniel's in a bit of a predicament. Let's see what decision he makes. We got a comment there in the live chat from Lady Jazzy.
She says, has Daniel ever sought advice about his love life? For example, friends in the faith or pastor, or kept it private?
That's a good question.
You like that one, Kelly?
Yeah, interesting because I won't reveal too much. I was told when it comes to your love life, please don't shoot me, or like I'm just saying what I've been told. I was told when it comes to your love life, because it's a decision that you make and it's your life, you can only get this right once, ideally. You're not really, or you shouldn't really be encouraged to constantly ask for opinions and advice, because everyone has something different to say. I'm not saying Daniel shouldn't ask for advice, but I'm saying there's a bit of flip side to that as well.
Okay, that's good.
See,
Jasmine?
I have a thought on this. If he's keeping it private, then you knew what you're doing. Because
we're
why
keeping
is
the relationship private.
If you're keeping the whole thing private, because
good.
let's be honest. Okay, please don't shoot me. But in my experience of life, men are some of the biggest gossips I've ever met.
Wait. I think
I felt Colossus cut my mic.
But why is it triggered? Colossus is even okay.
Jasmine, go on, cook.
The fly will enter. Because they will tell their boys, oh, do you see, this is the girl that I like. Oh, this is this. They want to tell their boys everything. They want to brag. They want to talk. They want to be like, oh, there was this girl. Oh, she was liking me. Oh, that one, she's feeling me. They love to talk about things amongst themselves in their boys. And you know it. That's why the men have the group chat. Like if the group chat was ever down, burn the group chat before anyone can see it.
There's a men's group chat.
Can I say something about it?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, what?
As a man, I know you support me. Yeah, go ahead.
Like I understand what she's saying. She made a point.
That's my boy. He's got my back.
No.
Put the closest camera.
But wait. Oh yeah. Sorry. But the thing is, you say man, they like to gossip with each other about women, but that's not the way. The way you see is not right, because I think man is just like to think, yeah, if I'm gonna get this girl, I like expect to my friends if they're gonna like it or not. But they don't.
Thank you. Straight from Olympus. Thank you.
It's not like they are gossiping, but they are just like, you know, what do you think about her? This
Well, they're talking about behind the girl's back, so that's not gossip. That's okay.
But now girls, they're gonna maybe look worse, because they're gonna feel like, oh, but is this, is that, is this, is that, and then you're gonna have a lot of things in your mind.
Kelly's had trauma.
You're gonna have a lot of things in your mind. They're gonna make you feel like, I don't know if I'm gonna be with this boy. But man, he's just gonna try to help.
Right.
This is interesting. This is good.
Do you know what, Collie? I'm gonna agree with you to an extent. And so, okay, I agree.
It's not accent.
Am I looking here?
Yeah, go ahead.
But my thing is, I think the difference is, if you're going to tell your boys, why wouldn't you tell your pastor?
No, we're talking about Daniel's scenario.
We're talking about Daniel, that's good.
You went into reality.
Okay, let me reel it back then. Okay, fair. You okay? But I think if you're keeping it a secret, you probably knew that there's something that you shouldn't be doing. Because if you're even going to keep it a secret from your boys, then you know you were doing something.
So that's Daniel. Okay, okay, but in terms of reality, how men behave, because as far as I know, men, we don't do group chats like that. I mean, we're in the family group chat, but to do a group chat for just to talk like that, I think that's a misconception.
Okay.
There, big time, especially if the guys, men of the world, I don't think even do that, just to kind of like be up. Okay, you know,
no,
I've been out of that world for a very long time.
Tell us, what do you think? You're gonna say?
I'll give credit where credit's due.
Yeah,
men of the world do that, because I've been in that situation before. But nowadays, for the guy to go, oh, you see this girl? Yeah. We don't do that. We don't do that.
See, this is
men of God.
You know, relationship power, it helps to deal with those myths and ideas that we have. You know, men and women are different, and we have different ideas. You know, women can just talk and like create stuff, and men, I think men are pretty much rigid and sober. You know what I mean? I don't mean what I'm saying is they don't go to that extent of like to be emotional when they're talking about different types of things, unless the guy is corrupt. Yeah. You know, so this is interesting. All right, I'm loving the conversation. We got some comments in the live chat.
Yeah. So, okay. So Bonang says Dumela and BFS family.
Dumela.
He says Dumela and BFS family. It's a great day-to-day time to grow together. Looks like I already missed so much. Lorraine says keep God first. Don't compromise your faith over a relationship that takes someone away from God. Lady Jess says when the lady approached him for the first time, the first thought should have been to evangelize and bring her to God. And Kelly screaming, is the C4 going off? What's that? But I says, wait, what? Men are not the biggest gossips. Ouch. Lady Jess says, yes. I was thinking that if he kept it private, then he knows what he's doing is wrong.
That's Daniel.
Men and
That's
women
Daniel.
are both as equal in the gossiping theme. They
said
just
that?
do it, Lady Jess, they just do it differently. And I think
She's
so
right.
as far as the love life is concerned, there's someone you go and
It's not
About-
man.
No, wait.
call it gossip or
Wait.
it doesn't matter.
No, you said someone, right? Someone. Like, so there's someone that you're gonna confide in, and it's kind of structured. You don't let the kind of conversation just kind of flow overboard. But you know what you're saying about men gossiping? I keep thinking about the barbershop conversations. Because you've got different types of men in the barbershop.
Yeah.
And men kind of say exactly how they feel. They will say, like, oh, you know what, she treats me good, you know. And they'll kind of be open. But I don't think the conversation goes to be
It's not.
disrespectful.
It's
I
not.
love that.
No,
yeah,
but-
I never thought it was
But
so
it's
disrespectful.
Yeah, it's not gossiping in a disrespectful
Respectful
way.
way.
It's in a way that they're talking about the girl, discussing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what you meant.
I
isn't
thought
it?
when you talk about somebody else, that counts as gossip. But I guess,
Yeah.
I don't mean it in like a, oh my gosh, like talking
Yeah.
about all the ins and outs, but just like the
Yeah.
general of, okay, she's like this, she does this.
What Colossus
blah,
said,
blah.
isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
Collie's got my back. Yeah.
Now you're calling. So what did Daniel
Kelly
do?
seems to disapprove. What is it, Kel?
Just
Tell us.
Just this whole thing of men are bigger gossipers.
Yeah.
than
Why you
women.
mad?
You have to let it go,
the
man.
reason, I know, but the reason why that bugs me is
ahead.
because I've seen weddings here, and I've seen some girls pull up to weddings you weren't even invited to it.
Oh,
Like, I'm just
What
looking
does
like,
that have to do with
what's that got-
gossip?
because for me it's like, and okay, outside that, right, if there's anything I've noticed, I won't expose the script. I won't expose the script. If there's anything I've noticed, girls love a good love story. They love it.
We do.
They love it. When you look at every single girl fantasy story from the past, it's all about love story. Barbie, it's Barbie and Ken.
See, Tehel knows she can't argue.
It's all these Disney,
Tehel
Disney
knows she can't say
princesses.
nothing on that.
It's
No, you know what? I
big.
just give up with
It's,
Kelly.
it's not give up, but it's just how it is. So for me, it's like to hear, but guys speak more about love life than girls do. I'm just like, sorry.
Gossip.
Guys, let's stop. We've got a lot going on here, guys, and I think one
we
thing
see
about
what Daniel
posing this
did?
question is that it shows the differences in men's thinking and women's thinking, and what women think about men, as well as how men are trying to understand women, right? Where these things are coming from.
Do you know what? Can I say something just quick? Kelly, it's an example. Kelly was saying, Colossus, so what do you think? That girl is really nice. Let's say they're mates.
Okay.
And he's trying to get information. It
Wow.
doesn't matter if he's doing it the way that we're always advised that, do your homework. So he'd be like, Assistant Robert, what do you think of Jasmine? I've seen her before. And then, that's him asking.
Yeah.
And then for me, I'll go to Jasmine and say, oh, so, there's this guy, so what do you think? It's the same thing. If
just different fonts.
Yeah,
it's the
difference
same
is-
thing,
but
but now
here's
the
the
men want to
difference.
say, no, it's not.
I
it's
don't
not.
think
It's
so.
not.
Wait.
I didn't.
I just
Okay,
see my
stop,
read my
stop.
Bible.
Okay, you
Yeah.
know what? Okay, Kel, please represent.
Okay,
Go ahead.
the difference is I'm only going to him. You're going to her, and then the next person, and then the
To
next
do
person,
what?
and then the next person. And before you know
All right,
it,
all right. So let's leave it at that. Let's find out what Daniel did
Yes.
in this tricky situation. She gave him a proposal. She said, "Look, you know what you need to do to show you that, just for me to know that you love me." And Daniel was like, "Oh my gosh, what do I do now? I love God, but I know what she's talking about." Let's see what Daniel decided. Check this out.
Why? Daniel went for a walk that night. Long, quiet, reflective. South London streets were nearly empty, but his mind was busy. He replayed all the moments he ignored the warning signs, all the small compromises, all the shifts in his spiritual life. Not because he was evil, not because he stopped loving God, but because he feared losing her more than losing himself. Then the truth hit him. If the only way to keep someone is to lose God, then that person is not a blessing. He took a deep breath and made his decision. Daniel messaged her, not in anger, but clarity. I can't love you at the cost of losing God. If this ends us, then it was never meant to begin. She left immediately. It hurt, but the peace that followed was real. Months passed, healing came, and eventually so did someone new. Someone who loved God like he did. Someone who didn't pull him away, but pushed him toward God. Daniel understood something he wished he knew earlier. When you put someone above God, you lose both. But when you put God first, he gives you a love that lasts. Bible verse, Matthew 22:37, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. And now the question for every listener, who in your life might be taking a place in your heart that belongs to God alone? Have a robust day.
Let's give them a round of applause.
Nice.
Well done, Daniel.
Ooh, go Daniel.
Go, Daniel. All right, that was very interesting, huh? I know I could feel your breathing, Teho. I've been there as well. I've been there. No, I've been there as well. Literally, I remember that. I think I've said it on the show before. Like, I was kind of 2 years in the church. I was patati patata. I would come every night against Sunday, but I improved on coming like consecutive Sunday. I didn't even know there was a Wednesday service, but I was coming. And then guess what? At one point, I missed the Sunday morning because I was getting late. I said, let me respect God and not go in late. And that went into a sequence of Sundays. And during that time, the Ghanaian American girl at Burger King where I was working took an interest, and we kind of got to know each other. And then when she became my girlfriend, right? And obviously, as a young man, I'm like, there's lots of potential here that I've wanted to explore and desire, right?
You at Burger King?
Huh?
You at Burger King?
Yeah. When I was
Burger King is a bad man shop. Anyway,
Burger King, they got good food. Yeah. So at the time, I was 18, right?
Yes.
And so anyway, what happened? So this was happening, and it was I was going out of my, I remember that sometimes I'd be in my room and I'd think to myself, what if Jesus came back? Oh. But guess what? Cut a long story short, I said, I have to get back to church. Went there, had that moment where I was like, wait, the coin dropped. If I'm in a good place of worship, I've been taught the truth. If I was to die right now, I would actually see hell. It just finally hit me after 2 years, and after I was like, nah, I don't care. Everyone was praying, worshiping God. I was like, God, next Lord's Supper, I need to be ready to take it. All right. And afterwards, I realized that I need to distance myself from things that are not good. And I invited her to church. She actually came, and Pastor Michael Boudrin was there. And after, he was an assistant at the time, and he was like happy that she came. He was rooting for me. And I asked her, gonna come back? She was like, nah. It's good, but nah.
Your heart must have dropped in that moment.
I was in faith mode because I know I can't give room for any emotion. And after I'm like, and so she was looking at her phone. I was like, right at the bus stop, right there in front of Brixton Church. I'm like, I know what I have to do.
Yeah, she's gone.
And I tell you, when I met up with her mum tried to persuade me, like, just be like a normal young person. Just be with my daughter. Yeah, the mum was persuading me, like, literally. But I tell you, when I met up with her, I said, look, we can't do this. We're going in separate paths. The weight that came off my shoulders.
You did it in person? You did it in person?
I did it in person.
Wow.
Would you have texted?
I mean, that wasn't such a thing to do at that time. This is like 1999, right? So, but anyway, it was in front of the Tesco outside, and afterwards, when I walked away, like Daniel's character, I felt so lifted, and I told you, after that, my spiritual life just transformed. Holy Spirit, poof. You know what I mean? After serving God, it was such a release.
Oh, it's amazing.
And if I held on to that, I wouldn't have been here. So and she was perfect. Everything, her hair, she was perfect. If you're looking physically speaking, everything physically a man would want. And I had the mother's approval. But when I let go, I gained something better. So, but not all the time the stories can go like that, right? It's like this. Okay, so guys, but that was a good story, yeah?
Very. Yeah. Yours, but also
Daniel's, yeah. Yeah, a lot of food for thought. Yeah, especially like now we've got a lot of singles on the arena table. So this is going to be a lot for us to mull over. All right, so talking about mulling over, guys. I hope you like that story. I hope you like the conversation there. Parachuting in, wearing a big thick jacket like she got a cold, is the one and only Jules, our hostess with the mostess.
Good morning.
I just want to share something quite interesting. Something here, an interesting point that did you know that apparently the British Psychological Society 2025, they discovered that people with low spiritual boundaries are 74% more likely to stay in destructive relationships.
Spiritual boundaries low, I hear it, obviously.
74%, right? More likely to be in destructive relationships. So I mean, we're talking about the thing today, putting someone above God in your relationship. So it's the facts are there, But however, let's have a look to see what's happening this morning. The Breakfast Show WhatsApp line is acting a bit strange. That's why some of you probably didn't get the link to it. But we asked the morning coffee question earlier on today. Please, Colossus, fire the question, and Teho, remind us, what was the morning coffee question for today?
So our morning coffee question is: what makes people put someone above God? Is it A, fear of losing them? Is it B, lack of spiritual discipline? Is it C, emotional dependence? Or are you saying it's something else? Option D.
All right, guys. So we want to hear your thoughts. Jasmine looks like she's ready to fire. I looked into her eyes from the side of the table. Jasmine, I'll let you go first. All right, this is quite interesting. So what would you say makes people put someone above God?
So initially I was thinking it might be B, but I've met people who have like spiritual discipline, as in like they don't do anything of the world, they don't drink, they don't swear, they don't do anything of the world, and yet they still let their love life take the best of them.
Yeah.
So I think I'd actually say C, emotional dependence. I think something that T was saying earlier was about how because you've waited so long and you feel like you're in a desert, and then I realized that actually when you spend a lot of time without like romantic interest, you start to crave that because you can receive spiritual interest, like as in spiritual strength from God. You can receive like interest from your friends, but like romantic interest is something so different and special that like sometimes you start to, when you do get a little bit of it, it's like eating one square of chocolate. You're like, I can't do it. I need the rest. Give me the rest of the bar.
One more.
Oh my God.
You're like, please give me the rest. And so then I feel like it's that emotional dependence. You get used to it and you start to get kind of addicted to that feeling of like warmth and love and excitement, and it's suddenly like they text me, I'm gonna see them, and I think I'd go with C.
I think that highlights the trap that can happen with a single person in the faith, where, for example, you've had an encounter with God and you're on a high.
Yeah.
And then comes a thought, I don't need love life. I don't need love life. I am going to be the Apostle Paul.
Yeah.
Male or female version. Right?
Paulina.
But guess what? Time passes and the human desire is still there.
Yeah.
And so because they haven't prepared themselves with things like the love talk, the love therapy, they say, no, I don't do love life, so I don't need to go love therapy. Yeah, oh, God is with me. So, and time passes, like what you're saying, that emotional need, it comes from God. And so if someone does turn up or they started to learn something, they're like, I should consider my love life more seriously at that particular stage. When the person comes up, there can be emotional imbalance on how they deal with it. So I like what you're saying there, Jasmine. That's really interesting.
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, anyone else on the table of justice, any thoughts? And those of you who are listening, yes, please feel free to put your answer in any time in the live chat. Let's go. Kelly, go ahead, soldier.
Oh, great. I agree with what Jasmine said. But I think because of that, I think it's actually a fear of losing them then.
Fear of losing them.
Because it's like, you come to the church and you see the girls. You see how they behave. And even with the way they behave, it's like, ugh.
Wow.
So when you do...
you just gave a blanket statement just then. I just want you
Sorry,
to be
disclaimer, it's not everyone.
Okay.
If the shoe fits, it fits.
Oh, wow.
If it's wear it.
That's it, but the whip.
Give the whip.
But it's like, imagine you seeing just
So could you just clarify what means? Because I don't understand.
Jasmine was not letting it go. Jasmine was never letting it go.
I was waiting for my opportunity. Let me sip my tea.
So imagine you just see that constantly. Then comes this one person who is just different from the rest. You don't want to let that go.
Oh, I hate that.
You don't want to let that go.
That's sweet. Tell us.
I'm not gonna
She needs to say something.
Tell us your experience.
Can you relate?
Yeah, please.
You can
Open
tell
your
us.
heart.
Tell us.
Go
We're
ahead.
listening. We're
Yeah,
all ears.
yeah, Jules. Hostess or the mostess.
You guys are so doing.
Open your heart.
The mostess or the hostess,
Shy.
tell
She
us.
even looks shy. What is going on?
I
Who's
know.
shy?
It's Thursday. It brings out a different side of a
but I
person.
know what he means. It's like when I think once, it can be another thing of like, once you've built a relationship or even a friendship that's going to escalate into a relationship with someone, it's like, I don't want to do this with someone else.
Wow.
Or you even have like, I don't want someone else to have what I have with this person.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Especially when you know it's genuine. It's like, it's rare to find that. So now imagine I have to put you aside and like forget about you. I don't want to go
That's
through the
strong
headache
works,
of,
you know.
I don't know.
Wow. The struggle is real.
Yeah.
Like finding
The
a
struggle is
pearl.
real. I mean, we got interesting comment here in the live chat. So we had Lorraine saying the fear of losing them. So I think they agreed with Kelly and you. Then immediately they say lack of spiritual discipline because it gives room for doubts and temptation to make that compromise. So Michele, I believe, agreed with you. Saying no becomes harder. Yep, because
Anonymous says all of them, you know.
she does, isn't it? She's like, oh yeah, just all of the above. Good morning, Gabby. And also, I sent mine in WhatsApp. Okay, let me go into the WhatsApp now to see what our soldiers are saying this morning on today's morning coffee question. All right. Oh my gosh, Bonanga's sent one as well. Let's see. Oh gosh, it's kicking off. All right, Isabel in Manchester says, good morning, BFS family. Opinion C. I put God first in all circumstances, especially love life. Priority is God. I have learned from my mistakes. All right, so that was to the AI. Yeah. David has something to say. Let's see what the brother says.
To be honest.
Oh, sorry, brother. Okay.
To be honest, for the morning coffee question, with all them options, I think it's all of them.
All of them.
I think it could be any of them. Any of them or all of them.
Okay.
That could be the reason.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It could be all of them, to be honest. That's me.
All right, David. All right, cool. I would love to know a bit more. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. We have Bonang here. Bonang, straight
Love
from
the
South
name.
Africa.
Send a voice
Bonang.
note.
Wow.
We haven't heard his voice
The nine.
before.
We
I
haven't
like
heard
it.
his voice before.
Ooh, this is
I'm actually seeing him on the WhatsApp line for the first time here. All right. Let's see Bonang.
Welcome.
Go, brother.
Slow
Oh,
intro.
In the meantime, you have a really nice name,
Morning, BFS
Bonang.
family. Busy working, so I can't really text much.
if he's single, just know
But
he
for
works.
the morning coffee question, I think it's a little bit of both, but mainly B. The lack of spiritual intelligence. Because if you are spiritually intelligent, no one has to tell you that God comes first in everything.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how valuable you think something is, whether it's a relationship as we're talking about now, or even a job or whatever it may be in this life. No one has to tell you or remind you that God is priority. So I think the lack of intelligence, spiritual intelligence, is definitely above it all. But also, depending on how much you have invested in that relationship, you would be afraid of losing the person, you know, because of so much that maybe you would have went through together with a person.
I've got a video for
Sometimes
that.
how the relationship starts, maybe if it starts with that person being like a knight in shining armor, you're coming from a tough situation, and then they were a good friend, you know, they were a good shoulder to cry on, and then suddenly you have to lose this person. Now it's not an easy thing, Yabo. I think that's it. And then as for the emotional dependency, I think if the person was someone who's really supportive, someone, you know, who really believes in you, someone who's always there pushing you to be better, of course, then you become somewhat emotionally dependent, and you start thinking, if I lose this person, what am I gonna do? Who's gonna push me now? Who's gonna be like, yeah, you got this? So yeah, that's it from me anyway. Sharp.
Hey, brother, that's good to hear your voice. Handsome sounding guy. I don't know if it's we'll find out. I like it.
Yeah.
Lady Jazz sent something here as well.
I like Lady Jazz a lot.
Yeah, Lady Jazz
Please
is
don't
cool.
take our Lady Jazz.
Here we go. Lady Jazz, fire.
Good morning, breakfast family. How are you all doing? I hope you are all having a blessed day. So, the answer to the morning coffee question, I would say it's D, all of the above. Well, something else. The reason why I would say D, because it could be all of the above for
like
someone, or it could be one of them. But then also, when you're in a relationship with someone, your family's watching you, and then people are watching you, and you know, they want to be happy for you, they root for you to get married and all that stuff. And say if it's not God's will and you have to let that relationship go, you have to explain to your family why it's over. And then the thought in your mind, the thought of like, you know, ending a relationship and then having to start all over again might be long or difficult for that person.
Wow.
And then you also have to explain, well, you don't necessarily have to explain yourself to anybody, but people are going to approach you and they're going to question it. And then you're going to have to deal with that as well. So I think it's the aftermath that can be scary for a person, or that can be challenging for a person.
Yeah.
And that's why that could be the reason why they may end up putting the person above God, or it could be that they're putting their family or people above God just to keep that relationship there. Yeah, that could be the reason as well. But yeah, I definitely think it's something else, because there's so many things to think about when you're in a relationship.
All right, playing it safe there. She also texts here, if it was down to me, I would keep my relationship private until I'm engaged. Only my pastor and pastor's wife will know about it, but it's almost impossible to do this. Yeah.
They wanted to hide us last time and not put the girls' screen savers. You remember?
Oh, I remember. I'll never forget that.
Anyways,
when a man is in love, you check his lock screen. It's his girl.
No. Colossus agreed with that one.
Yeah, it's so true.
Again with that.
No. Colossus, you did agree that you did. Colossus did agree that he would. Anyways, let's not
Agree
change
with what?
topic.
No. Remind me.
On keeping the person as a screen.
You like
and
lock
then you
screen.
said no, but I can see her all the time on my lock screen, so I don't need to post there.
Can I say something? Because I experienced in the past. I lost my phone, and because it was my picture there, they knew it was me. So I would put my picture, not my girl's.
Things have changed.
It's very practical.
He was just okay. Anyways, back to the morning coffee question.
Yes. We're gonna go into the first element with Bishop James, right?
Yeah.
But just before we do, I want to fire this one with Ashipala, because she actually talks about an experience here. Ashipala Saima says, "Good morning, Assistant Robert and the Table of Justice." All right. From my own experience, I once liked someone.
Okay.
We weren't dating, just communicating, but I ended it because I saw the spiritual danger. I realized two things were happening. C, emotional dependence. My heart was leaning on him more than God. She saw A, fear of losing him. I didn't want to let go even though it wasn't right. Then a question came to my spirit. If you stood before God on Judgment Day, would he ask you, was he worth the fire? Was he worth your place in heaven? I also remembered he could only be with me for a few hours, but God is with me every moment. So if I leave God for someone temporary, who will I depend on when he's not there?
Shabala.
That's why I chose God. She just literally threw another part up as I'm talking. At that time in my life, a lot was going on emotionally, spiritually, mentally. It was heavy. And the devil knew I was vulnerable. He knew I just wanted someone to listen, to understand me, or to make me feel seen. That's how he works. He brings the wrong person at the right emotional moment.
What's the person's name?
That's Ashipala.
Ashipala, you've got some insight.
I was gonna say something different, you know.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it sort of, as far as those options are concerned, I felt like those are English words, but there's something underneath.
Yes.
You know, like according to my personal experience, right? According to my personal experience,
Here we go.
there was some rejection that I had not dealt with. And so because of that, because I feel like that would make sense. If you're afraid of losing the person, why are you afraid of losing the person? You get what I mean? Of course, we are people.
Where's that coming from?
Yeah, where is that coming from? Sometimes it's coming from somewhere, isn't it? Now, Kelly's giving weird facial expressions, but I'm just saying on the point that I'm talking about, isn't it? Sometimes you're afraid of losing the person, like Assistant Robert said, why are you afraid of losing them? And, sometimes people don't have spiritual discipline, right? They're just getting back up on their feet they're just trying to, get it together with God, and they're like, God, you know what? I don't really have my thing going on right, so I need to. Well, actually, that person shouldn't be in a relationship if they don't have discipline to begin with. And then why are you emotionally dependent on this person? What is going on inside of you? So for me, because I thought, okay, because whenever I placed someone before God, whenever we would do stuff which were sinful, I had to be drunk because I didn't want to feel. I didn't want my conscience to accuse me. Yeah. So I had to be drunk or high or whatever, right? And then I'm thinking, okay, but because I knew I knew what I was doing was wrong. But then I was like, okay, why was I in that situation to begin with? Okay, it might be because, I didn't trust in God. Okay, maybe I was afraid of losing this person. Maybe I didn't have, I depended on this person emotionally. But what was wrong with me? Because for me to be, because these are just symptoms that are outside. So why do I have those things to begin with? So then I realized that, because I had to say, so this made me to go into a cycle or habits, because it was a thing of over the years, isn't it? And then I had to say, no, for me, it's because of this rejection, which I did not deal with from childhood. So you have to find a deeper reason. Yeah.
So you're saying, like, the person who comes into faith, they're doing well, they get blessed with someone in their love life, but even so, maybe they haven't resolved the deeper issues that's making them act a certain way when God finally reveals someone to them. Which then maybe, is it God revealing someone to that person?
Because you know what, our love life, how we always, our bishops always says our love lives are like mirrors, like your partner will always be your mirror, because you are alone in your house. And I think because our love lives are really close to our salvation as well, you get to see the reality of who you are when you are dealing with a person every day. You get to see that, no, you know what, you are a snappy person.
Yeah, you're not as patient as you thought.
Right? Yeah. And then, that's when you have to see, okay, but where is this coming from? Because you can't say, no, I'm a snappy person. You just have to think, but maybe, because of my background, I was raised this way, because in my house we are loud, we are snappy, and it relates to the real talk thing we had yesterday about how people will be arguing in the house and then they don't apologize, and then that becomes a norm. You get married, you argue, and then from there, oh honey, are we ordering? You forgot to apologize. It's like, it's just resolved. We'll order after you apologize.
So guys, this is good. This is really good. So guys, we're cooking. You can see the human heart is a complex device. That's why the Bible says it's desperately wicked, all right? Because it can put us into trouble, right? But the great thing is we have the love therapy every Thursday at 8 p.m. here in the Rainbow Theatre, the Cathedral of Miracles, helping us to love intelligently, all right? So wherever you are, especially if you're in the UK, you can literally come down to Finsbury Park. It's a beautiful venue. Beautiful venue. If you're in another country, another continent, right? It's a beautiful venue, isn't it, Raquel?
Yes, indeed, it is.
That's coming from a guy, man. You can see he has joy in his face just thinking about the place. Yeah. So we're going to show elements from the Love Talk in just right now, just coming up. So pay very close attention, because these are not all of it, but it's segments of it, and the Table of Justice are going to give their insight. So the Love Talk seminars the elements are going to be like the break of the show, but be paying very close attention as we go towards the final stretch of our program this morning. It's great having you with us. If you're still with us, you're enjoying the convo, just say, oh yeah, in the live chat. You're awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Take it away, Colossus, with part number 1. Hey, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show. Just thought I'd interrupt. If you haven't done already, smash the robust like and subscribe button. Why not? Why not? You like us, I like you. Why not?
If you want to see why something went wrong or why something is going wrong, you need to go to the beginning of the problem. Remember when you studied maths, perhaps, I don't know if you're still studying math, But when you studied math, if you were doing an equation and you got the end result wrong, what would you do? You would go back to the beginning of the equation and start from scratch to see what you got wrong. Wasn't it like that? So with God is the same. When you have a problem in a relationship, you need to trace the beginning, go back to the beginning to see what's wrong so you can fix it. Otherwise, you may actually be dealing with the symptom rather than the root of the problem. And we are going to look at the beginning. What was the first relationship ever in the Bible? Adam and Eve. And we know something went wrong there. So I'm going to read here Genesis 2 from verse 16 and 17. And the Lord commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. Then in Genesis 3 verse 6, we see what happened with Eve. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Why do you think? Let's think about this. If God had said to Adam and Eve, do not eat of the fruit, why do you think, especially Adam, because Eve, she started chatting with the serpent, and the serpent managed to convince her to eat of the fruit. But why? Because Adam had time to think. Remember, God said, if you eat of this fruit, you will surely die. If Eve would have died, who else was there? There was nobody else. There was no other fish in the sea. Maybe, we don't know, but maybe Adam was afraid that he would lose his wife. Because what he should have done was he should have gone to God and say, look, you should not have done this. We go to God right now. We go to the Father right now because you should not have taken of the fruit. But maybe Adam was afraid that he would lose Eve. And we see here a problem that happens in many relationships. Is that in that moment, Adam put Eve above God. And this is why many people do things that are wrong in relationships, because they put that person above God. You want to see? Why are there people, for example, that sometimes meet someone who is not of the faith, who's not converted, who's in the world, and the person leaves the presence of God to be with that person? Why? Why do you think the person does that? Because that person is above God for them. The person may say, no, Bishop, no one is above God. But if you leave the presence of God to be with someone in the world because the person doesn't share the same values and faith, then what are you saying? That person for you is above God. You come to love therapy, you learn that sex outside of marriage, the Bible has a name for that. What is the name for that? Fornication. You know this is sinful, but you give yourself away to someone because you don't want to lose that person. You don't want the person to leave you. They promised that they wouldn't leave you, so you give yourself to that person. Why? Because you put that person above God. Because the person didn't understand the value of salvation. Because if my salvation is the most important thing for me, I would not risk that for anybody. If the person is in an abusive relationship, they know the relationship is abusive, and they still choose to stay there. Why? Because that person is above God. Satan is very good at pulling at the heartstrings. Be careful.
You know, this is interesting because, like, you can have relationships that, you know, that you know, are quite flippant. You know, it's quite loose. But then when you get into a relationship with someone and you're serious, right? And you are not thinking about God, but about God's purpose for your life, about God's principles, that can happen. You're open for someone to actually abuse the closeness. And because you're putting them above God, you overlook something that's abuse. You overlook their disobedience. Because obviously when God gives us a marriage, he gives us certain, constraints to live by. You know, so for example, a person who is godly thinks, okay, this person I'm going to choose is going to be for the rest of my life. I won't cause this person harm because that's going to displease God. I'm going to be, Lord, teach me how to speak to this person because I want my words to be seasoned with salt to edify and bless this person. That's the programming when everything is done in God. But the moment we try to step out of that and maybe God is showing us that this is not the person, but we still pursue it anyway, we make ourselves open for harm, right? Both men and women. And it's so easy to happen. Hey guys. I
was thinking as you were speaking, it makes sense because a lot of people, because they understand this principle that, okay, that I should be equally yoked. If I am of God, I should be someone of God. They start to make a compromise in a different way where they'll be like, oh, but if they go to church, or if I can get them to pray, or if I can get them to sometimes read the Bible, close enough, right? And so often people will settle for close enough. Not because they think this person is now equally yoked, but because they're like, I want them so badly that if I can just get them to do what looks like they're of faith, that's enough. And it's not, and it never will be.
Well, that's tough. That's it. If I can get him to do something that looks like it's a faith, that means that we're literally losing our mind.
Yeah.
Right? The heart. I mean, you're a really chilled guy, Kelly. You know, the way you behave, even regarding these subjects. But it's so easy to happen, even for the most powerful man. Yes or no? I think, anyway.
Yeah, I'll just give my mindset in regards to this because that's something I was really thinking about. And when you said, I was speaking to the mic. When you said you can only get this right once. I don't think people really grasp what that truly means. To get it right only once, because this is for the rest of your life. Because recently we had a meeting on Sunday, and it spoke about how Jacob disobeyed a direction that was given to him, which was for him to take only one wife, but he took two. For the 145 years that Jacob lived, he suffered, his words, not mine, he suffered 130 of them. To suffer 130 years of your life, sorry, nah, I can't do that, man. No. Yeah. But it just goes to show that things may look pleasing to the eyes, but what matters most is your obedience to God. And I say this because what we're saying now is not just pulled out randomly out of the air. This is all biblical. There's a direction for your love life in the word. You just have to, I would say, look for that direction and obey it. But that's all I would say.
Interesting. Tel, did you have any thoughts on the piece that was shared?
Yeah, no.
Sorry, you got something in the live chat?
Yeah.
Because you got that look in your eyes and a smile.
No, okay. No, well, yeah, lady just said, although my morning coffee question is from experience of others, but me personally, I chose God always. But, I was going to say, I just have, Jules, do you want to go first? I have a lot in mind.
Okay. Now, I was just thinking, because I was trying to put myself in the shoes of someone who in that moment chooses someone that's not of the faith over God, and why did they do that? And I was just thinking, logically, now when, let's say, when you're spiritually sober, you're like, that's dumb, I would never do that, that's not the right choice. But I think when you're in that moment, I think what blinds you so much is the infatuation, is the emotion, is that kind of, you're in this this honeymoon phase, you don't realize of what is coming your way if you actually pursue that relationship. So I think it's and it's hard, especially if you're really close to the person that you're interested in. You don't really get that time alone to actually think, okay, what am I doing? To kind of clear that cloud of emotions, of feelings, and think, okay, where is this actually going to take me? And although people can say, oh, but I'm gonna convert him, oh, but he's gonna come to the faith, but and I always keep this picture in my mind. I remember there was one real talk where the pastor, he had someone try to pull him down from the altar versus him trying to pull someone up. It's so much easier for someone to pull you down, especially when it's love life, because your heart is so involved, you're so infatuated in the moment, especially in the beginning. But
imagine to be on the altar is discipline, right? Is restriction, right? Is that's the life of the altar. Right?
I don't literally mean like.
I know, but what I'm saying, spiritually speaking, you know, whether you serve God on the court or the physical altar, you know, spiritually as well. But like, altar is discipline. Away from the altar is anything goes. We make up stuff.
Yeah, but I think like I'm really trying to put myself in the shoes of someone that. Well, I don't have to go far because actually I was in those shoes once, but it's like I think that kind of happens when you're already distant from the altar, because then you lose that sobriety. Past English, sobriety. It's like it's only then because when like imagine, okay, so put into two perspectives. Imagine because you can be close to the Lord, but you're active, like you're involved in the work of God, you're focused, you're going about your day, whatever. Versus when you start to drift, that's when you kind of lose that sharpness, that conviction of no, I can't get involved. It's like you start to. It's like a plastic
it's like the dulling
bag
of your conscience
flowing. Yeah, it's like your conscience gets. How can I say?
Dull.
Numb.
Yeah.
Fluffy.
It's like
there's another word you're looking
for.
for.
Yeah.
You know what? I've got something here to kind of answer that, because God was kind of speaking to someone who was actually very, very intelligent and very, very clever, Solomon. And God was saying to Solomon, look, he told him, look, just don't marry strange women. He says, you shall not intermarry with them, nor they with you. So even if they like you, let it go, brother. Right? Surely they will turn your turn your hearts after their gods. You know, so imagine if the lady is all about her appearance or her beauty, she will turn your heart towards her appearance, her beauty, or his heart, you know, his appearance, his beauty, whatever the thing that they love, their environment they're in, they will turn your heart. So God was kind of giving Solomon, the wisest man ever, who was very intellectual. He knew the beginning and end of all things in some sense, you know, that heart, man, is wicked. It makes the brain go fluffy.
Can I say something?
You?
Finally. I'll be quick.
Go ahead.
I promise I'll try. I was just thinking what Jules was saying, what you're saying, and I was thinking, you know, the part of my testimony, the relationship that, you know, took me from the present. It wasn't even the relationship like Jules was saying. It was the fact that for me, I feel like already I was not investing in my relationship with God, so I had gone cold. But it's the fact that when it started, this was someone who took an interest in me, and I didn't even notice him. So for me, because I was like, okay, God, you know, because I'm just gonna do this, serve you, and when you provide, you provide. So I gave it a go. I said, okay, no, I've never taken interest in this person, but I'm willing to give it a try. So I gave it a try, and I thought, okay, no, emotions are not involved. I'm just in faith, which is what you do at the beginning, because you're like, okay, let me be in faith, emotions aside. But it's really, if you do not stay in faith, if you do not keep like very close to God, and you don't keep your sobriety, it's really easy to steal like your heart because you'll get close to this person.
You know what's interesting about that? I came across a poem I wrote for Nicola. You know, for someone who came to Jesus and was very like diligent, my friend, that poem was hot. Nicola's my wife.
Oh, do you still have it?
Yeah.
Are you gonna read it out on live?
Dude, this thing is strong. I mean, literally, it was like, you know, I was basically saying like, I've never experienced anything to try to contend with God. That's why I want to push you away. Wow. But if it's God will, I'll give you a little space. It was like
Christian bars, come on.
Because I wasn't.
Kelly's like, drop the mic.
Kelly, you've never written a poem, get out of my face, Kelly.
Listen, because I was very strict, right? And to have someone to consider for love life,
it kind of softens you.
And I was writing that conflict in the poem.
That's beautiful.
You know what I mean? Literally. So the struggle is real.
Yeah. So you can. Yeah. But Yeah.
Yeah. Struggle. Look, let's move on to the next part because we want to make sure we do all the parts today and not have to continue them. By the way, in other words, equally yoked, not almost like you in faith yoked. That's from Ilhe. Yeah.
Thank you. You got the word.
Let's go for number 2.
Look how Satan is cunning. Because many people think that this thing of leaving the church, leaving the presence of God, and leaving your principles to be with that person is love. They think that that is love. Because I left everything for you, that's love. That's not love. That's an obsession. Yeah. Love is healthy. Love is healthy. Love is that food, that nourishment that you eat and it makes you stronger. When a relationship is of God, you don't hide it. It's not secretive, it's a blessing. When a relationship is of God, it brings you closer to God. My wife brings me closer to God. But when a relationship is not of God, what happened to Adam and Eve when they ate of the fruit? What happened? They saw they were naked, so they went and hid. When God called for them, what did they do? They were hiding. A relationship that is of God always has God first and then that person.
Yes, good evening. When I was listening to the message of today, I thought like this: God gives us gifts. Obviously, we're talking about love life here. So God gives us gifts, but it's not for us to get attached to such in such a way that God we switch, that person now becomes my everything. And God is there when I have a tummy ache. You know a tummy ache? I don't know how to translate this in English, but in my country, we say, oh, you only go to God when you have a dor de barriga, when you remember, when you have a need. How is this dangerous? When you who are single, because you are single, you still have time to make good decisions. People who already got married, maybe you didn't make a good decision back in the day, and now you have to fight for your relationship, etc., etc. So you keep going, you use your faith. But for you who are single, be careful with your choices. Don't put anyone, you were talking about appearance. Okay, so you are single and we have the singles hour. And then there is a very nice lad that shows up and says he's very strong in his faith, but he's not. But he looks really nice. He's a very handsome boy, and then you kind of switch. Right, I know this is wrong. What I'm learning is that I should not be with someone who doesn't have the same principles, the same faith. Well, he comes to church, he's a good person, but he's not godly. He's not converted, not even baptized in water. And you decide to start a relationship with that person.
And you think, Bishop, I'm going to help him with his faith.
No.
That's not your job.
No.
It's not your job.
Yeah.
Right?
If God hasn't gotten through to him, do you think you will? Right? I'm just saying, think about it. So the same with couples, it's like this. And I've heard this many times before. The wife or the husband in a marriage, they come to church, but suddenly one decides not to be faithful to God anymore. And the person starts doing everything to please the spouse and puts God in second place. So this is a recipe for disaster. If we don't put God first, there's no happiness in love. Why? Because God is the source of happiness. God is the source of love.
I love that. If you try to do it, put someone else above God, because God will never accept to be second place.
No, he won't.
I never remember I was taught this. He will never accept second place. He'll only be first if we want him in our lives. And so that means if we put someone else or someone else's will which conflicts with what God says we should do, then we've missed the author of love. The source of love is not in the picture, and that's why you can see things kind of shipwreck, right? When people if we try to do it our own way, right? And we can do that within a relationship. For example, you could be in a relationship, I think we even looked at this last week, where you're together in the house of God, serving God, but imagine if both of you are growing cold. We stop practicing the fundamentals of what God is teaching us. Then what happens? It's gonna be like a room for that weeds and that moss to grow, animosity. So so obedience to God involves more of the author of love in the relationship. Disobedience to God in any shape or form, we're losing the source of love. It's powerful. Yes.
I was gonna say, just yesterday there was Bishop's meditation about the story of Jonah, and he was saying how if you don't answer God's calling, everything that you do does not work out. You become stagnant. And I was thinking the calling is the calling to salvation, isn't it? And the first thing that came to my mind was when I was in the world, and the one thing that was always taking me away from the presence of God was my love life. It was always boys, and I was thinking nothing ever worked out because of my disobedience, because it was like I was just running away from God and wanting to do things my way.
Jonah.
Yeah, and I was like, that's why things never work out. And now I'm just thinking, like, even if you try to disobey and do things your way, it will not work out. Even if it looks like it's working out and it's like, okay, no, she's not in the same faith, but I'm giving up my faith for her, and it's like it's all good. It's like the devil would pull the racket under your feet down the line, and it's gonna be a hard fall. Like, it's gonna be painful.
You know the worst thing about that is? The worst thing is that the human being wants to be happy. And it's like we've got some mad flip in our head that makes us think we're gonna run from God and find happiness.
Yeah,
and that's why
that's good. It's not like in action. That's what happened.
That's what happened.
But that's not what goes through the person's mind
or feelings.
Because no one goes, okay, God, I'm gonna run away from you and I'm gonna get my happiness.
That's right.
No one thinks like that.
That's right.
It's more so of, whoa, this opportunity is here, and I believe in the coffee question. At one point it said not the spiritual discernment or discipline, but the spiritual discernment can be in there as well. If you don't have that discernment, you don't know if this is from God or not.
True.
So one question that's also valid to ask is, or just to ask in general is, can you distinguish between a blessing that comes from God or a blessing that comes from the devil? Because one thing that I had to really grasp in the past 2 weeks or so, because I watched a interesting movie.
Open your heart, bro.
And the question that kind of surrounded it was, God and the devil, they both bless, but can you distinguish between who is blessing you?
And Jesus said, my sheep know my voice.
And
and I think that's why Jesus said, seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and everything will be added.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So Kelly, do you think that people can't tell?
People can't tell.
People can't tell the difference. Do you know what? I want to think that personally, from my personal experience, I think that for me, it was always like, okay, if I have to do it God's way, I have to look after myself. I have to be good. And it always felt like it means I have to be perfect. I remember there was a time I felt like, am I even gonna ever get married in the church, because boys in the church are so disciplined, and I felt so impure. Obviously I always felt rejected by God, and I felt like I'm the worst person ever, and I was like, please, even my love life, far from that one, I can't even think of that one, because I'm far from perfect. I mean, guys in the church are perfect, so I'll never get there. So I knew, and I was like, if I have to do it God's way, it's gonna be climbing a mountain. But if I do it my way, I mean, it might not be the best. It might not be the best, but at least I'll be like happy, because you see couples on socials and they appear to be happy. And guess what? The last relationship I was in, it appeared happy on socials, and it was the worst. Wow. It was the worst. It was like abusive. It was really bad.
But imagine you chose obedience, right? Because to choose obedience, we go against our will daily. And because we're going against our will, we are inquiring with God, shall I make this decision? And that's how we become familiar with God's voice. You know, the more as we walk in obedience and submit our will to God, we're crying out to God, we become more sensitive to know his voice. And then, and then an opportunity, the devil tries to take advantage of an opportunity, right? And we know the difference. right? But who are we gonna listen to? Our human heart, our needs, or the discernment that we've developed, right? Because that can happen.
So Kelly, so you think it like when you first see the first thing, like she just said a comment which you feel like that's uncomfortable. So you don't think like you can tell and then pull the rug, or you think people just go, nah, probably it was nothing. I
think it's both. I think you can tell, but whether you choose to follow through with it or not, it's up to you. Yeah. So for example, for me, this is me. I'm someone, if I hear a certain comment or a certain line of thinking, I've shut you off completely. I've shut you off completely.
I feel like Kelly is not telling the truth.
No,
Kelly is very graceful, you know.
Is it?
I'm not.
The other day he said he would forgive
somebody.
I
just like, sorry, I can't. The forgiveness because I was really married to the person. Like, no choice.
Okay, but because the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's like there's that, but it's also it's a thing of Colossus. Back me on this. I'm sure you'll see this.
Colossus, you're very neutral.
Here's my thing.
Neutral.
And this is not for me to like be desensitive or whatnot, but I often hear stories of unfortunate, like how women are in certain relationships. My question is, I'm sure there must have been signs before you jumped into that relationship. So for me, sometimes it's like when I hear people say, "Oh, he did this to me," and I'm like, but there were signs before, and then it's even to the point that even in LT they'll say the same thing, but weren't there signs? And then from their counseling session, the wife would go, "Oh yeah, there were signs, I just chose to ignore them."
Boy.
We usually look back and say, "Oh, you know, he used to do this and he was doing this. I should have seen."
Let me show you something. You think? Check this video out.
It's so amazing to finally go out with another true Christian.
Yeah,
Ma'am, get over here. My suit is freezing cold. I'm not paying for this. Oh, and I see your cross necklace. 1 Corinthians 5:12. You should be ashamed of yourself. Colossians 3:23. Anyways.
Oh no.
I love Jesus, but I hate other Christians.
1 Corinthians chapter 13, John 13:35.
It's so...
Oh gosh.
Kenny's like, yeah, there it is.
So even that, for example, right? This is what I mean with their signs. It's it's a common thing to go for, especially for guys to go, when you go on a date, see how she treats the waiter. The game's evolved already. Everyone knows treat the waiter nice, whatnot. My thing is now, see how they treat people when people disappoint them. Because I've seen situations where someone will just disappoint you. And my thing is just, you disappointed me. If you can't do it, no problem. It's fine. Let's just move on. Life is bigger than whatever disappointment would just happen. But there's some people, this person disappointed me. Can't believe they would do this to me. Why would it? And I'm just there like, it's not
watch
really
the signs.
See, I feel like the signs are more subtle than the video is showing, and even what you're talking about. Like, I think even like examples of friends I've had where the guy will have, like, for example, he follows one or two of his exes on social media. That doesn't seem like, to some people, one is too many, but to some people, it's just like his ex and now they're friends, so it's not a big issue. But that is a red flag, because then later on when you're in the relationship and suddenly he's going on just friendship dates with his ex and you're like, I don't know what he was like. The man was always lustful. You just decided, it's just his friend, because you make excuses because you hope the behavior will not change. And someone once said to me, a married lizard doesn't become an alligator. And I was like, ooh, because people think if I just marry them, that commitment will change them, but they are who they were before they got married, the same person they will be after.
Beautiful. All right, so we're gonna go to the next part right now, guys. It's cooking. We're trying to make sure we fit all of them in this show, so let's go with, this is part number 3. It's hotting up. Let's go, Colossus.
When a relationship is of God, it's protected. Amen? It's protected, it's safe. Because God is what you have in common. So because the relationship is of God, because you put God first and that person puts God first, you do not sin. It's not a lustful relationship. You know, just an example. When I started dating Elena, one of the first things I did, I wanted to be very sincere with her and very honest. So on our first date, we went out to eat. So I thought, where can I take her to eat that I'm going to be myself? Not pretentious.
Mm-hmm.
I took her to KFC. Why? Some of you did like this. What? But in KFC, you eat with your hands. Is it true or not? You're not there
formal.
with the fork and the knife like this and like this. So you get to be yourself. When Elena came here to the UK, we did it at a distance for a while. When she came here to the UK, first thing I wanted to do with her, I said, I wanted to evangelize with her. So first thing we did, as soon as I had the opportunity, I evangelized with her. I wanted to see her evangelizing, and I wanted her to see
Fundraising with me.
fundraising together. I wanted her to see me serving God, and I wanted to see her, not physical. I wanted to see her spirit. I wanted to see her faith, because I knew that if we had the same faith, our relationship would work. And that's what many people don't do.
Yeah.
Many people, because they don't put God first, they start to, and then they think, I tell this to the guys that are getting married. Sometimes people speak to me, Bishop, we're getting married, or I am married. What would you advise us to do? I said, as soon as you get married, evangelize together, serve God together, fundraise together. Because people get married and they think about travel the world and this, and God gets pushed. God is like this. The person got married, and then the more they are married, the more God gets pushed and pushed further away from them. Further, travel the world, Bahamas, and this and that and that, and everything they did when they met in the church no longer happens. You tell me, how do you think this relationship is going to go? You honestly think about it. Think about it. But if you get married and now you say, now we can serve together, you go to church together, right? You plan your weekends together because God is first. Doesn't mean you get married, you can't take holidays. You can't go to the Bahamas. You can. But we have church in the Bahamas. You go there to evangelize with the pastor. You take pictures. Sunday this is the pleasure of the person who puts God where? First. Now you tell me, how on earth is this marriage going to go wrong? It's impossible. Because God is first.
And also, when you put God first as a couple, you will have disagreements, because you are an individual and he is an individual. You have different brains, different upbringings, even though you are godly. But because you put God first, you don't allow yourself to cross any line of disrespect, of blackmail, or you were not nice to me, so nothing for a week. Or no food for you. You go and microwave yourself something from Tesco or whatever. Do you understand? But because you put God first, you understand that he or she is a gift to you from God. You look after it. You don't put it above God. But even that is shown in your daily conversations. If you see, for example, you are both attending the church, following God, you really want a relationship with God, but you notice that your other half is going astray. It's a comment here, a comment there. Because you put God first, you put things, you already put all the cards on the table. Hey, I notice that you don't do this anymore. You're not faithful to God anymore. Listen, me and God first. If you don't want to be with God, there is no us. Because if there wasn't God, we wouldn't be here. We are here because of God.
I love that. We are here because of God. Bishop said earlier in that, he says, look, the things that made me fall in love with this person was how they would serve God, how they would be dedicated to God. But as soon as the ring goes on the finger, we are doing everything except for the thing I fell in love with, the thing that made that person seem special. And then Miss Helena also pointed out that, what you're doing, I can't accept this because it goes against God. This behavior you're having or the way you speak, I'm going to be careful how I speak to you because I don't want to upset God. But also I can't tolerate the way you are treating me because it doesn't align with God. So putting God first protects us as well as how I'm protecting the other person. There was something that you reacted to when Bishop was speaking earlier.
Oh, yes. Bishop said, if you want to get to know the person, straight after your honeymoon or after you get married, just evangelize with the person. Do daily activities with the person. Because it's in those down moments, that's when you're just you. There is no birthday, there is no 1 year anniversary, there's no special date now.
Or even a movie.
Or even you're just your normal person.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I said, that's kind of the reason why I always ask people, if I'm speaking to them, on a random Tuesday evening, what do you do? Because Thursday evening you're at love therapy, Friday evening you're in the service, Wednesday evening you're either at Real Talk evening service, Monday evening maybe your financial life, you're there as well. But on a Tuesday evening where typically, and this is me kind of assuming, but typically when nothing goes on, what do you do on a daily basis? And that's really when you get to know the person, as to see what they do in their free time and whatnot. But that's just it.
Yeah, anyone want to add something very quickly? Yep, okay, we're rolling, we're good. Yep, so Bishop said dating must reveal the person's faith. I remember, I think I shared on the show that one time Pastor Richard, who was my pastor at the time, he says, Robert, why are you looking at Nicola for? And this was during the 4 p.m. service of faith with the mentor. And I'd be admiring her faith. I'd be like holding the thing like, yes. It made me excited to see her like this praying for people, you know what I mean? And the pastor caught me. But that's what impresses a person of God, and it's quite interesting. And when he said about going on holiday, let's see an opportunity to evangelize. But imagine you have someone who says, why would you want to do that for? We're on holiday. You'd want a reason with them to be like, yeah, it's true, it's on holiday. But if you get the person that is on fire and they're like, yeah, man, let's do this, why not? It brings you joy. It brings you joy. And you'd have to see that before the ring goes on the finger.
Which brings us to that point where Bishop said, if you're interested in someone, go to their brunch on a Saturday, see if they're there for battalion.
Yeah. That's it.
But yeah,
single life is homework. You have to be Sherlock Holmes. It's your future. Right? You can only, we only want to do this once. We've got to do it once. Yes, Jasmine.
Although I do have a thing about, when people like to test. And yes, the Bible says test and see. But I think even things like, let me go to the branch and see if they're battalion. Sometimes you'll catch me, although I'm in battalion, I'm also in food bank. So I'm in the garage. You're not going to see me. Or like Sunday morning, I'll be in CBC. So you might not see me.
No, but we're talking about literal situation.
No. But that's the thing about like you looking after yourself, you being there for God. That person will know you are there one way or the other. Like you don't need to be there and show yourself physically. Now that will be you trying to do God's work. You just need to be in spirit where you are. Do the work that you're called for. God will guide that person to you if he's meant to be there and see you on that day. Or maybe ask if you are there or whatever. They will see you. And if they don't see you, it does not matter. Do not get involved.
It's like what the young Jesus said.
Yeah, high five.
It's like what the Lord Jesus said as a young boy. Don't you know I'm about my Father's business?
On
that note, David, let's go to number 4.
So when you fear God, when you put God first, even when you have a discussion or an argument, or notice a certain behavior, you make that person know, hey, I'm still the same here. I'm not going to move because of you.
When you're single, you have no one competing with God. When you start dating, you have to be careful, because that person can take the place of God. When Adam was by himself, I imagine that one night he slept here, another night he slept over there, another night he slept over there. When he got married, Eve arrived. She created a home. He had a home to go back to. Comfort, right? When you're single, there's no one competing with God. But when you start dating, when you get married, be careful, because that person cannot take the place of God. Maybe you feel tempted to compromise your principles. Don't do that. If you're dating and you see that the person that you're dating doesn't have a passion to serve God like you do, be careful, because that's only going to get worse after you get married. It's not going to get better. You have to make it clear to the person, this is my passion, is serving my God. And the person who comes into your life has to add to that. If you right now, or recently, you have allowed something But Bishop, I didn't allow something or someone to take God's place. If you compromised your principles, your salvation, what you believe in for that person, then that person took the place of God. You want to know if that person is your God. Matthew 26. Sorry, not 26, forgive me, my bad. 22, verse 36 and 37. Okay. Teacher, which is the great commandment in the law? Jesus said to him, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and with all your mind. If you compromised loving God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and you compromise it because you compromised your principles, your vows with God because of that person, then that person became your God. That person became your God. That person pressured you. If you don't sleep with me before we get married, I'm going to leave. You sleep with me, do this. And you did it. That person was your God. Because if the day that that person said that to you, if you were born of God, if God was your God, if He was your everything, you would have told that person where to go. I've never met anybody, I've never met one relationship that started wrong and became right. It starts wrong, guess what happens? It ends wrong. Like we said at the beginning, you have to go back to the beginning and fix the beginning. Of course, if two people started wrong, but they seek the new birth, they seek to know God individually, then yes, things can be fixed. But if you are with someone who is born of God, if you're with someone who loves God with all their heart, all their soul, and all their mind, your relationship will be a blessing. The dating period is to test the person. You want to test the person, find out where they are Saturday morning. Find out if they arrive. Go to their branch. Go to their branch and see what time they arrive for the Sunday morning service. If the person has no respect with God to arrive on time Sunday morning, you think they're going to have respect with you? The dating period is to test, is to get a magnifying glass and find out who the person is. Because after you get married, that's not the testing time, that's not the changing time. It's before. When you get married, you have to be sure that that person is going to be the blessing that you wanted them to be. The only certainty that a marriage will last, a relationship will last, is if both have God in first place. If at any time, I'm talking now to those who are dating. Okay, I know that some of you here are dating. If at any time you see that the person you're dating no longer holds God in first place, end the relationship. But Bishop, now I've told him that I love him. You can unlove him or unlove her and love someone else. But don't listen. Being with someone who has God in first place, you are at peace. Amen? Because if the person has God in first place, if the person fears God, they will never cheat on you. Because they fear God. Amen? How many? We've had cases here in our headquarters of assistants who were married, and they were in the presence of God, one decided to leave Jesus. If one decided to leave Jesus, what should the other one have done? What should they have done? You stay. No, you want to leave Jesus, you go. I'm not going to leave Jesus. But in most cases, guess what happens? One leaves, what does the other one do? Leaves. Why? Why? Because that person became their God. And usually, guess what happens to them? They leave the presence of God, they run after that person, and the relationship, because the glue that brought them together, that was God, is no longer there. We've had pastors who were serving on the altar, and one day the wife said, "Oh, I don't want to serve God anymore." The pastor, "Oh, okay, I will go. I will leave God. I will leave the work of God with you." Okay, and he went. If someone doesn't want to be with God, to serve God, because the person no longer makes God their everything, then we have nothing in common anymore. Of course, we're saying if you are married and there's problems, fight for your marriage. But I'm talking here, especially for you who are dating. If the person you are dating does not put God first, if the person you are dating does not have a passion to save souls, to serve God, you have a problem waiting to happen. You have like a ticking time bomb that at any moment is going to explode. That's the problem. So don't allow that person to become your God. Amen? And if you're dating, serve God together, evangelize together. You know, serve Him and He. And some people say like this, but Bishop, if we get married, we are newlyweds, and all we do is are in the church, how are we going to enjoy our life? That's enjoying life. That's enjoying life. When I thought of getting married, I thought of being with my wife to do this, to evangelize, to go and do visiting. That's the enjoyment that a person who's born of God wants to have. Amen? And that's the glue that brings them both together.
The author of love is the glue that joins them both together. Bishop James said, before you got married, there was nothing competing for your love. And then you have somebody in your life, which is why we have many people like I was who are very radical concerning love life and wouldn't even give anybody a chance, because we know that love life is an emotional thing. Is this person helping me love God with my all, or dividing me? So is this person coming to my life to help me love God even more? If that's the case, then there's going to be more intimacy before you both. Or is the person dividing me from how I want to please God? And I just want to say thank you to Bishop for this, actually, because, you know, when you're navigating the love life, sometimes you don't know if you're being overly righteous, you know what I mean? And to kind of gauge the situation. Sometimes you think, oh my gosh, the person that I set my eyes on is the one I need to marry. This is the one ideas that can pop up in your head because you just come from a new birth. Everything is new. And the way Bishop kind of laid things out like that, I think is absolutely fantastic. We're gonna hopefully we'll show the AI at the end just to show you that imagine if you occupy the space with somebody that's wrong, you disqualify an opportunity for the person that's right later on, you know, because it was too hasty. So yeah, and we met because of Jesus. So if we take Jesus out of the picture, what do we have in common? You know, so guys, so Bishop's touched on a lot of things. Your final words, all of you. Let's start from Kelly. Yeah. Just to finish up.
His brain is
today in general, your final words.
I would say for everything in general, as long as you obey God in your love life, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, that's it. Jasmine.
I would say, as long as you put God first and that other person puts God first, shoot your shot.
Yeah. So long. Okay. Yeah. But great. And Bishop gave us some good tools to identify, right?
Very true.
Jules. Yeah.
I'd say for me it's to have the same vision of building God's kingdom. I think sometimes people get married and they forget about souls, they forget about evangelism, they forget about serving God. So yeah, for me being
because love life is polarizing, because God gives you instructions to like really value this person. You know what I mean? Like, this is how I should treat this person. God gives us instructions, you know, to love this person, to, you know, not to disrespect the person. So if we don't have the right type of thinking, it's polarizing. We won't know how to manage certain situations, right? Because I'm meant to love this person, right? It's interesting.
Yeah. I was thinking, if ever your emotions tries to play tricks on you, remember what's at stake. Like I always remember the How Far Will She Go movie. When she got married to that guy because they met in the church and she was abused the same on her honeymoon night. So imagine that choosing the wrong person, you can be opening a whole lot of things in the future, trauma, and it's
and your life was simple. You was all right.
Yeah,
you was happy being like you. I mean, you need to have been okay being single. You need to have been content being single, because if that's not the case, then that's a different conversation, right?
And that's actually one of the roots Bishop was talking about last week. He was saying you need to overcome your fear of being alone. And then fear of getting the wrong person. Just overcome fear in general, and then everything else will fall into place.
God is not giving us this.
Imagine having a lady who's like, I'm happy being by myself. My friend, I'm like, I want that one. You know what I'm saying? She's like, she's good. Like, I don't have desperation.
Really?
Yeah, man. Because I want someone. Because
Kelly likes
imagine this person. No, the person shows an interest, but what I'm saying is they don't treat you like a crutch to their happiness. You know what I mean? I think that's great.
The reason why I said really is because at first that can be an attractive thing.
Yeah,
like I can do it myself. I don't need you. Get with that person and
try
to do something together. If they keep that attitude up,
not in an arrogant way.
No, but Robert's not talking about hyper independence.
No, I know.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So, guys, this has been Thursday Relationship Power. I've really enjoyed the show with you guys today on the Table of Justice, and you over there putting up with my condition. Yeah, my condition. You're strong.
Your condition just works right for the listeners and for us.
Amen to that. Jesus has a reason for everything.
Yes.
All right, guys, and this has been Table Justice. We're going to be having 12 o'clock. Where You Going with Pastor Reeves, Miss Bijou, and myself here on Liberty Radio. So make sure you tune in for that one. And as well as that, we're going to have some good music in between. The Breakfast Show is going to have Feel Good Friday tomorrow with me, Jules, and Colossus here. We're going to be giving out prizes, and then 60-second trivia. It's going to be great. But thank you, guys. You've been awesome.
We have the love therapy later on.
Yep.
Yes, we
so
do.
we have our love therapy. Probably you've been listening to us and you think, ooh, it's really bad where I am emotionally speaking or relationship speaking. So today is your opportunity. You can find us in Finsbury Park, 232 Seven Sisters Road, N4 3NX at 8 p.m. So there's gonna be married pastors, married assistants who will give you any counseling, no judging. So feel free to come and join us, and you're gonna get some tips as well on how to cut the bad roots that you have in your love life.
All right, if you're listening on DAB, or just go to uckg.org. All right, and you can find out if you're in another country. Then you can literally find out one that's closest to you on your continent, which is great. I really hope you enjoyed this episode of the program. We have a lot more episodes covering a lot more themes on The Breakfast Show. And guess what? Your experience can be even deeper and more interactive because we are live weekdays from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on libertyradio.co.uk. On that Liberty Radio platform, we have a whole host of other inspirational material. As well as that, we have our breakfast show in the mornings. Check it out. There's a live chat, there's a video feed, and you can get up to date on all the breakfast show antics and fun, vim, excitement, and all that kind of crazy stuff that we love to enjoy. This is Robbie here, Robust Presenter, and I hope to see you live and enjoy the next one.